There's Rosie. Welcome.
Yeah, but where do I have to click to hear you talk?
You can't hear me?
Right here.
I don't know. I'll be right back, guys.
Rosie, can you hear us?
Is everyone on there? I got Mr. Estrada, Mr. Trujillo. I don't see.
I'm here. David, I'm here.
Carrasco, yeah, okay. Mr. Chavez?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I see you, Rod. Mr. Estrada, wow, what an honor. Is that Ulysses?
That's me. Hi, Rosie.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Hey, did Mr. Grijalva step out? Yeah,
I'm
there
here.
he is. Okay. Everyone's there. I guess Steve's on there too.
Yes, I'm here. No, me.
All right. Let's see. Notice is hereby given that a regular board meeting, Lower Valley Water District, is held on Thursday, April 23rd, 2020. It is 6:31 p.m. There being 5 members present, I will declare a quorum. Would you will recite the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silent prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States.
United States of America. And
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Justice for all.
That's okay, Rob. Dolores, I don't know if she's other. Do you have anyone that signed up for open forum?
No, there's no one. No. Cindy?
No? Okay. No? Then we'll move on to the consent agendas, agenda item 5 through 11. Do any of the directors have any questions regarding the consent agenda?
No question.
No questions.
none.
No
I
questions.
so move that we approve the consent agenda
I second.
Still,
David Carrasco.
and seconded by Mr. Carrasco. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. The next item is the general manager's report. Mr. Grijalva?
I'm gonna share my screen. Let me know if you can see it, okay? Here we go. Okay, can you see where it's the slideshow? Yes.
No.
No, I cannot see it.
No.
Okay, let me try again.
Patrick or Henry?
did you get it, Pat? Verbal.
I think you need to share. I gotta share it on the right screen, right? No.
Loader.
You get a. So that now I can share. It's which one? Is that the screen?
Yeah, it's gonna be this screen.
Or is it this screen? It's that screen.
You want to share that one?
Yeah,
It's gonna show this screen.
it'll be this one. Okay.
Okay, that's perfect.
Which one is it?
No, it's this one too.
Two.
Oh, now it shares. Oh, that's only gonna share the PowerPoint.
That's all I want.
Okay, sure.
All right, you ready? So I'm ready. Share.
All right, I can see it.
All right, you can see it, right?
Yes.
All right.
All right, so here we go. First, I'm going to give you an update on what we've done with regard to the emergency. We'll talk about the recent sewer issues that we had and how we addressed them, the various projects, and then how our managers are dealing with the emergency as well. So the manager reports you already have. You can go through those. If you have any questions, give me a call, and I'll talk about the highlights. So here's what we have so far. We're enforcing the 6 feet rule. We now have homemade masks that people can use. So if they're within 6 feet of each other, wear the masks, either inside or outside, it doesn't matter. We also require self-reporting for any illness or traveling outside of El Paso. We're seriously considering asking people that if they've gone to Juarez to let us know as well. We have thermometers in order, so we will be taking the temperature of all on-site employees. Although we're asking the telework employees to report if they're not feeling well as well. We require currently a doctor's approval or a COVID-19 negative test for flu-like symptoms. We're also considering a minimum of 72 hours if they don't take the test before they can come in. We've got telework implemented already. The telework employees are working 8 hours instead of the 5 for on-site personnel who are facing the risk directly. We've completed the second drive-through window. You can see that on the picture there. And we are using it whenever the area gets congested. Recently, we had a couple of sewer situations, one of them which caused a pretty significant overflow. The first one was during the night before Easter Sunday, and it went on through the night. Our regulatory compliance people, our risk management people, attempted to clear the line. First, they had to find it. We started at the Saltillo lift station, turned off the pumps there, and then followed the line to see where the blockage would have occurred. And we ended up in front of the laundromat that belongs to Borrego on De La Rosa Road. So that's about 3 miles from where the pumps gave us the warning that there was a blockage. Once we found it, they worked through the night and they could not unblock it. So we spent most of the next day trying to unplug it as well. And then as it started to get late, we actually hired a contractor to come back and continue. The dumpster you see there on the left is what we got. The contractor got much, much more. And all of that is sanitary wipes as they're clogging our systems and our pumps in the sewer infrastructure that we have. The second one occurred the following week, during the week on Thunder Road. That's where the storm drain is for Socorro, for the city of Socorro. Fortunately for us, the manhole emptied out into the storm drain, but we're looking at a contamination issue that's about 10 feet wide and 500 feet long. So we're going to spend quite a little bit of money remediating that whole site. TCEQ has been advised and we're cleaning it up as we speak. Again, there was some debris, so we need to pull frequent maintenance now more than ever on our sewer lines. But there was also a lot of sanitary wipes in that system as well. We did put out a letter, that's the one on the left, and you can find it on the website. It's in both English and Spanish, and Michael released it to the press. Both Fox News and CBS 4 did the release. We actually saw it on the news, and it's on their websites as well. So that's the press release that we put out, and we're telling people not to dump their sanitary wipes into the sewer system. The projects, the engineering projects, we're working on Conquistador and Lourdes Estates. That's a project funded partially by the County of El Paso. They're giving us $500,000 for each one of those projects. And we're working on where we're going to locate the lift station next before we can continue on with the engineering designs and acquiring the funding for it. Rosa Azul, we had some really good meetings with regard to Rosa Azul. One of the most important ones was we all of a sudden, because we were working with the NAD Bank on Rosa Azul and the Texas Water Development Board on that and the other projects we're working, the EPA called the NAD Bank and told them that we qualified for 5 additional grants that we had in our bond issuances. All of the water grants qualify for EPA funding. So we're going to solicit EPA funding or NAD Bank funding for some of our bond issuances so that we can continue on with more bond issuances if we can save enough money. So all of the water projects qualify for federal funding. Rosa Azul itself, we're working on trying to get the NAD Bank approval so we can start with connecting on phase 1. It looks like the cost per customer, if the funding comes through from the NAD Bank, will be approximately $500, which is our right to connect fees for sewer. Valeria didn't show up? Sorry about that, guys. Quadrilla is almost done. We're working on a change order, and you'll see that, I think, today in one of the agenda items, to convert the asphalt to cement, because we're going to have some pretty heavy trucks going through there. Okay, so this is what's happening with regard to our management here in the district as we try to work through the COVID issues. We're gradually getting back our rhythm with regard to what we have to do in all of our projects. And we're using a lot of the video conferencing, a lot of the offsite type of environment that we're in to be able to accomplish what we have to do. March has not affected us significantly with regard to incoming payments. We expect that to happen in April, though. So there is something coming. What we have seen is, first of all, that solid waste has increased significantly, but at the same time, we have more requests for commercial containers. So it's a little bit give and take. We're having to pay more in weight for solid waste services for our residents, but we're also renting out a few more solid waste commercial containers. Field operation came back. They came back this last Tuesday. We have split them up into 2 groups. One of them is in risk management, the other one in field operations, so that if something happens to either one of the groups, we still have a full group on the other side to be able to help us with our emergencies. Right now, we're concentrating on basically maintaining preventive maintenance on our systems, especially the sewer lines, since we know that they're vulnerable to a lot of the wipies that are being thrown in the sewer. And we're also dealing with emergencies. After that, then we can work the normal business as we can, as we have time for. IT has really taken advantage of this time, and I've taken advantage of this time, especially in our telework environment. The first thing that we've done is we're trying to automate a lot of our applications to make them telework easy. So when these employees come back, they're going to be pretty IT savvy and be able to do their jobs much more efficiently than they were in the past. The second thing that IT has done is they actually sent a mass text to all of our customers, and a mass email, I think, is what they're working on as well. So our telework employees are working on updating both the emails and phone numbers for our customers so that when we have outages or emergencies, we can send these mass texts out. So that's going to be a really big plus, which came out of this emergency itself. Are there any questions? Oh, and this is what our customer service lobby looks like right now.
That looks good.
Looks good, yeah.
Okay, you're back.
Gary, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
On the purchase of the land over there, I think Rosa del Sur, you were gonna check with the city of Socorro, see if we could put a lift station there. What happened?
Actually, it's not a purchase. We're working up the easement documents. Our lawyer and their lawyer met this week to discuss the easement legal, I guess, terms that are going to be used in it. We're working on getting the easement itself. At the same time, the City of Socorro has to go through the Texas Parks and Wildlife Commission to allow the park to be used for that purpose. And we're doing both things at once so that we can get it done as soon as possible. It looks positive. It doesn't look like there's going to be any encumbrances for us using the park, Mauro Rosas Park, for our lift station.
Okay.
Can you hear this, Rod? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I got a question on, I saw that you're gonna start hiring folks. In what departments are you gonna start hiring?
Okay, so here's what's happened. First of all, we already had people that had been interviewed that we were pending hiring. Okay, and
Okay.
since we had some losses in some key areas and some other promotions that we've done some in-house movement, we now have to hire some people from the outside. We had a retirement on our SCADA expert, so our SCADA guy's gone. We need to replace our SCADA guy. So that's one of them that we definitely have to do. We also, as we hit the emergency with the sewer spill, it's going to take a lot of time for us to submit all of the proper paperwork and comply with the TCEQ regulations on that. So we're going to advertise for our compliance officer as well to be able to fill that position, so it can help us get further along on all of the requirements that we have to meet with regard to compliance.
Okay,
I
no, that's
thought-
good news. It's good news. I think, yeah, we need to start hiring, especially now in these times that folks don't have any work. So, and I know we've got plenty of work to do for the district. So that's good news. Thanks.
All right.
I just think we need to be careful which positions we're filling due to this, because even though we're working from home and working from the office, we want to make sure we have the space to make sure everyone stays safe and the social distancing. So if we start, so whatever positions need to be filled, we need to be really careful, and maybe Jerry, you need to get with David and I and Sabrina together when we get ready to do that, so that we make sure we maintain the social distancing and not start bringing people back to work, and then you can't do that, because we're still going to keep people from working from home. But we'll get to the next item on that.
Okay, one thing I did want to mention on the general manager's report was that I hope that the board would entertain the 5-hour schedule for people on site throughout the month of May. That's when Texas, I think, plans to relax their rules. The other thing is I can keep the teleworking personnel busy till the end of the fiscal year, which is September 30th, on telework. And that'll cover all of our social distances. The offices here are pretty much empty. Everybody's got plenty of space here between personnel. Most of our people, a lot of our people in the administration part of these of our functions are on telework. Sabrina, can you mention the number? I forget.
We have 26 people right now that are on telework of the office staff.
Okay, are you done with your general manager's report?
There's no more questions. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Rosie, if I could, to mention like what you were just speaking about, I think is providing all the board maybe a list of like who is on telework, and that way we can see, and then like who's actually on site. That may help out all of us in general.
Okay.
He does. He provides us with an email and a spreadsheet.
Yes, we're doing a daily spreadsheet that has the information. We have a master log, but we are updating it daily because on occasion some staff that are on telework do come into the facility.
Okay.
So, but it is maintained daily.
Yeah, and
That's
and I
that's
see
the one
that-
I send them daily, right, Sabrina?
And I-
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
and I do
We
see,
get them daily,
okay, thank you.
okay? If no one has any other questions, we'll move on to the next item, which is item 13. Discussion and possible action regarding Lower Valley Water District's policy concerning the COVID-19 pandemic. And I guess this is where, Steve, I guess this is where we can discuss what the board plans on doing and continuing with the hours of operation. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
I know you guys are trying really hard. I know you've done whatever you can, but personally, we'll see what the rest of the board decides. I feel that I think that you've done a really good job in keeping people working from home and people at the office. But I really strongly believe that because we are an entity that affects the taxpayer, and you have the federal government working from home from 8 to 5, you have different entities doing that. I personally believe that we've given enough time to do what we had to do and try, even though we see the numbers in El Paso are not dropping. I personally feel that the reason why they're not dropping are people are still out at the stores wearing no masks, not practicing the social distance. I feel that we should try until the board decides different to get back to an 8 to 5 schedule. I don't know what the rest of the board feels. Mr. Thomas?
Yes, ma'am. I did drop for a short while, but I think I heard most of the conversation. My feelings are, I think even if you have to go to work, you should do an 8-hour work day, because I think even all the health workers, everybody that's going into work, even the teleworkers are conducting 8-hour-a-day operations to include the federal government. So my recommendation is to have everybody work an 8-hour day. If you're going to give overtime, that's like regular beyond the 40-hour a week, then you would gain the overtime. That's all I have, ma'am.
My concern on that is, Mr. Grijalva, the board agreed at first when all this came out that we were going to try this for 2 weeks. And instead we came in and did something a little different, okay? But that's okay. Our main purpose is to keep everybody safe. Hold on, I gotta, there. And to keep everyone safe. But, you know, I think it's sad, and I think everyone should let their conscience be their guide. But you see employees out on the street where you say, you know, here we're doing our best and making sure that we keep everyone safe. And I think everybody needs to mute their computer unless you're speaking, because we can hear the background and it's kind of loud. Anyhow, but I personally feel that we need to try to get back to a schedule of 5, being that you've been very aggressive in keeping the distance, keeping people working at home. But I also feel that we need to try to get back to working the 8 to 5, even if it's from home or from the office. I feel we owe it to our constituents to do the best we can. Because like you said, here comes April, and we may see a drop where they're gonna not be paying their monthly bill or being able to afford that. But that's my opinion right now. Maybe I'll have a change of mind in the next 2 weeks or so. But at this moment, I think that there's no reason people that are working from home or at the office should be an 8 to 5. Mainly the people working in the office is probably your management team, which is only expected. You know, we do that at work, management works, our employees work from home, but it is an 8 to 5 job. Mr. Trujillo,
Yes.
do you have any comment on that?
Well, yeah, I think you covered it pretty well. But if I understand right, didn't you say, Jerry, that we're going to go, what is it, another 2 weeks?
We're asking for the month of May. It's up to you what you decide. And the reason I say that is It's our field people that are actually taking the brunt of this.
Right.
And they're the guys that are out there facing the COVID directly because they're working in this. And that's why I was asking for another 2 weeks. There's a benefit to it because they're taking a risk versus the people on telework aren't really taking any risk at all.
Well, I think we should be careful. I mean, it's not over yet, you know.
No,
No,
We still got
and it's
time
not
to
gonna
go.
be over, and everybody has to face reality. It's not gonna be over yet. I can
No.
assure you, we're gonna go into the month of August, and then here comes the winter, and we're gonna have it, and it's horrible. But I also think we need to start preparing, and so people are ready to do what they have to do, because we can't live like this forever either. And second of all, I personally don't think it's right that if we say they're working 5 hours and then you have people that come in, they're gone at 1:30, or unless you have those people working from 12 to 5, and then I could see them getting time and a half after 5. But the time and a half should be after the 8 hours. We're giving you 8 hours. So I can't see how we can be paying an employee who works from 8:30 to 1:30, and then they have to come in at 2 or 3 or go do what they have to do, and we're paying them time and a half instead of after the 8 hours. That to me is not right. I
Okay, so
can't see myself doing that to our constituents when they're probably suffering without a job themselves.
right. And here's what we're doing there. After the 5 hours, what I'm asking our managers to do is if a person exceeds the 25 hours in the week, send them home. If there's emergency and we need them, then we call them back and pay them the premium pay. So that's what that's what my policy is going to be, and that's why we're asking for the premium pay during the emergency.
Yeah,
It's-
but when you say send them home, you send them home with pay?
No, okay, so
Okay.
look, say somebody today is scheduled to work 5 hours and they work 8. That goes against the 25. If they hit the 25 hours in 3 days, they don't work Thursday and Friday. Okay, unless we have an emergency that we have to call them back in for. That's when the premium pay would kick in.
How much longer do you plan to keep them on the 5-hour day?
I was hoping another month, and that's only so that the people that stayed here during the biggest part of the emergency, because it's not over, it's not expected to crest until sometime in late April, early May. Okay, so it's not over yet. We're not even we're almost there, but it's not there yet. As a perk for the people that stuck with us during the emergency and were here physically, I think this is me. We should keep it till May 30th or 31st, and then everybody goes to 8 hours, and from there, the overtime is only for emergencies.
I think the overtime should be for anybody that worked over 40 hours. In fairness to our constituents who are probably going crazy trying to pay their bill. And so I think, look, everybody look around. People have lost their jobs like crazy. The unemployment rate is horrible. Lower Valley Water District is still doing everything it possibly can to keep its employees working and employed. Because I'm sure that you as a manager and your managers, you as a GM and your managers should really analyze this. You're probably going to find that there's quite a few positions there that you've been able to handle, and yet they're working from home. Are they really on the computer physically working 5 hours or 8 hours? Are you sure? And I'm just saying, if I didn't sit on this board, I would want whatever was fair for me that pays my taxes and pays my water bill on time every month. So it does disturb me to see people running around and walking around and saying, wait a minute, what's your loyalty to the district?
Jerry,
Go ahead,
I'm sorry, Ms. Vila. Yes, so I may. I was going to say, are we already coming up with a plan of action, how we're going to transition back into being in the offices? Do we have a plan? Do we know what we're going to try to do?
like I said, I'm expecting me as the manager, I'm not expecting to call the telework people back until after September 30th.
But Jerry, there's got to be a transition where we're going to be using masks, where we're going to be having.
Oh,
I
we
don't know.
are already.
No, I understand. What I'm saying is maybe even having some partitions in between the cubicles. I don't know, but I'm saying, are you coming? But to say we're going to wait till September 30th, I don't think that's we don't have a crystal ball to say what's going to happen in September 30th.
No, we don't. And I'm hoping there'll be testing, there'll be a vaccine, there'll be people here that have already been tested for antibodies. That's why I'm giving it time. I'm hoping all of that would have happened, and then we'll make a decision on what the state of the art or what the way forward is to protect people in the office. The same thing's going to happen to restaurants. I don't think there's going to be restaurants opening with the congestion that they used to have, but those guidelines haven't come through yet. There isn't federal guidelines on it. There isn't state guidelines on it.
And that's what I'm
hoping that as we telework through all of this, the guidelines, the vaccines, the antibodies, all of this starts to develop so that we can make informed decisions.
And trust me, I hear what you're saying, but we have to we just can't say till September 30th, but we have to, I think, we start transitioning and bringing people back through shields, face shields. But we need to have them, like, I think, like, I would think what the other board members would agree, actually bring people back physically where they're working an 8-hour shift, because I mean, I don't know what Steve would think, but we can't continue just paying people a 40-hour week for 5 hours of work for 25 hours. That's me. That's
Not only that, Mr. Grijalva, when you and I and Mr. Carrasco and Sabrina had our HR meeting, I asked you, let me see your risk assessment plan that Mike should already have in place. I haven't gotten a copy. And that was at our HR meeting, because evidently the city and the county, if I'm not mistaken, they issued an emergency declaration order requiring all citizens mandated to wear a mask in the public, okay? So we at Lower Valley Water District should already have some kind of plan that the directors should have already received and its employees, because we can't be like this for the next 2-3 weeks. We don't know when this is going to end, so we can't keep a 5-hour work shift forever either. So you all as managers should already have a plan to present to the board as to how we're going to move into this. Now, here we are, April 23rd. I'm willing as a director and to tell the board, let's give you some more time, but I can't see myself moving into the entire month of May. I could see us saying, okay, guys, in the next 2 weeks, so you all can put your plan together. I could see, but come May 11th, I think everybody should be back at an 8-hour schedule, whether they're working from home or at the office.
And I was going to recommend something like the governor has right now, I believe is till May, or the city of El Paso as well, to echo that, May 17th, right? If I'm not mistaken. And then kind of evaluate it from there. I don't know how everybody else feels.
I would base myself on the state standard, but if you guys want to go with El Paso, that's fine.
City standard.
Hey, Jerry, this is Rod.
Yes, sir.
How about El Paso Water Utilities? Are they doing the same thing with their employees? Are they paying them 40 hours a week for 25 hours worth of work?
You guys were very generous when you started this thing. You were.
We were.
Okay. What we were asking for was maybe $1 or $2 a day, or $2 an hour, $1 an hour additional pay for hazardous duty or something like that for the people on site. That's what we were asking for, but it turned into a 25-hour work week for everybody. So it's your call, really.
But Jerry, you keep saying that, but that's kind of coming from you too. You're the one that kind of recommended that. So it's not that we're being generous. I mean, we want to be safe. The first thing has got to be safety for the employees. That's what I'm saying right now. When you said, you kind of caught me off guard when you said September 30th. Am I correct? You said September 30th?
Telework, yeah.
September?
Not the 5-hour work week. Telework.
No, but until September 30th.
I'm not going to approve for us to go through September. I think this board will monitor the situation as we have our board meetings. and we move. And we want to relieve the stress, because I can only imagine how stressful it was be, you know, I run a trucking company, and just because we deliver freight all over the place, it's been very stressful to have people work from home, but they're working 8 to 5, or we say from 9 to 6, and we're trying to be a little flexible. And now I feel that maybe what we could do also is start bringing people alternating. 1 week, this group works from home. 1 week, this group works from the office, and start getting back into that. Now, why don't we do this? And I think you give it on our report, but maybe every department head needs to provide you so you can give to us exactly what their department is doing. So I'm not picking on you, Martha, but you're the first one on my screen there. How many does Martha have working from home, and how many does she have at the office? And then, but I want to make sure everyone stays safe. This is safe. This is miserable. This is horrible. This is scary. You don't know what's going to happen. And I have grandkids that I worry more about me or Raymond, but we do need to start having a plan in place. We're not going to be like this. And personally, as a director, we're not going to be doing this till September. I think there's other plans where we can say alternating your employees back and forth, keeping them safe, and possibly allowing people to eat at their desks so that there's not too many in the lunchroom. You have to make certain adjustments.
And if I may, Ms. Villa, that's what I was asking, you know, maybe that Jerry, if he gets with his managers, each department will have a different, I guess, approach of how they're going to transition back. I mean, I don't know the date. I don't think any of us know the date. I mean, like I said, none of us have a crystal ball, but I think, am I not correct? The governor has the state till like pretty much shut down till the 17th, right, of May?
The governor, I think, said 30th of May. I'm not sure.
Okay, I thought 17th, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think, hey, David, I think you're correct. I think it is the 17th of May.
Okay, that's what I thought. We could go with that for right now and then start evaluating it, because we don't know how Texas is going to be. I know El Paso right now, we're kind of, but I think right now we're just doing, I think El Paso's, what I heard is doing, El Paso County in general, is doing more testing than anybody else in the state of Texas right now. So we're probably going to have more numbers, but hopefully that state will start, you know, that, like they said, it'll start going down and down. I'm hoping it is, but I mean, we have a different community, and I say that respectfully. We have a lot, you know, a lot of interaction and stuff, but hopefully it'll start going down. But
You know, let me just ask a question to Sabrina, so that you guys know this. How many people, Sabrina, are actually vulnerable that we have on telework?
I think we had about 12
Okay,
that we identified.
so those 12 people have to stay on telework. They can't be rotating. Unless you want us to, we'll rotate them. Telework to me is not a right. It's something that the district does to accommodate people.
Well, I think what we all need to also understand, people are not getting infected at work. People are getting infected outside work because they're still out and about without wearing their masks. People, the issue we had with Laura Valley, no one else had gotten sick, and hopefully he's doing so much better. But people, it's a known fact that people are getting infected outside of work. Actually, I think at work, people practice social distance. At my employment, you cannot come in at all. No vendor, no visitor, no one in my family. I have to meet them outside. I have to go outside. So people are getting infected outside work.
But then they bring it into work.
I don't think we have control.
That's where but that's where everyone should practice the social distance. And how do you know? You don't know. Well, we can be on this subject forever. I guess I need to hear from Mr. Estrada, who's next, smiling over there.
I can tell you, people get the infection somewhere else, then they come to work and bring it in to work with them and infect everybody in their department.
Correct.
That's why I'm willing to go telework till September, so they don't come back.
Right.
We're not going to do till September, unfortunately.
yeah,
We
I
really
think,
don't know what's going to happen.
we don't know what's going to happen. We can't really say September. I think we need to.
No.
And all I'm going to say is, I think to evaluate right now till May 17th, And then if we have to have a special board meeting and reevaluate it, I think we can just go from there, but we just can't start throwing out dates because
Okay, but these are two separate issues, guys, just so that you know. One of them is the 5-hour workday. The other one is telework,
Mhm.
okay?
I don't
They're
have
two
an issue
separate-
with telework. I have
Huh?
an issue with the 5-hour. I
That's
feel
fine.
that we owe it to our constituents to
Good,
be there for them 8 hours.
all right, and that's, I think, what you guys.
That's my
are
issue. I
discussing
don't know
right
how
now.
the rest of the board feels. It's up to them. I don't have an issue. For all I care, all of you can work from home. But it should be 8 to 5 and someone needs to monitor. And that's pretty sad because we're not children. We should be, like I said, you should have a conscience to know if you're being loyal or not. You know, if you forget to pay an employee an hour, they're gonna make sure they let you know you forgot about that hour. Well, then I
Correct.
feel no different about what we're doing for them right now. Is come on, yeah. So what I am saying is, I think we're ready to get back to the 8 to 5, even if you're doing it from them working from home, and you can be alternating your managers. 1 week, one works, or 3 of them work from home and 3 of them work from there. But to me, there's no reason why anybody can work from 8 to 5. Your federal government's doing it, and it's one of the biggest entities. They don't work 5 hours, they work 8 hours. The El Paso Electric Company, they work from 8 to 5. And from what I understand, so is El Paso Water Utility, but I don't know if they were gonna have to let go of people or bring more people on board. What I am saying here is that Lower Valley, when this first started, was sometime in March, I believe, that we chose to go ahead and do this. Well, here we are, April, and what I'm saying is, I think it's time that we can start working and trying the 8 to 5. We have the boardroom, but you say you have enough room for everybody that's already there. So I'm saying they can all stay home. I want everybody to be safe, but
Yes.
there's no reason why people cannot work from 8 to 5.
Yeah, and Jerry, please, on my side too, we want employees to be safe, but like, I know you already said it, but you have masks. Have you looked at some face shields as well? Face shields?
Well, hold on, guys, hold on. Let me show you my mask.
Put it on, Jerry.
Okay? It's homemade.
Homemade.
We don't have the whatever, the 19s or whatever they're called yet.
I got you.
We're trying to get them. We're trying to order them. All of this has had a huge backlog.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we're critical infrastructure, but we're not critical with regard to need for PPE.
Sabrina,
Gary,
Sabrina.
this is Steve. There's a new order that was just issued tonight that is going to be effective tomorrow, requiring face coverings, even at work, for everybody, unless you're in a single isolated office or space, whether you're indoors or outdoors. I just emailed it it literally was posted about 15 minutes ago. I've emailed it to you, Sabrina, and to Ms. V. Hill, but you're gonna need to go through it, and everybody who's at work, if they're around each other, if they're in a work crew, if they're out working, they have to have face coverings.
We're doing the best we can, and this is these are the masks that we have had homemade for us to use in the interim, so that we are actually, because the city of Socorro came up with this first,
Yes.
and we have to comply with their regulations as we work in the city. So those are the masks we're using until we get the proper masks,
Jerry,
but they're on backlog. We're
Jerry,
trying.
Jerry, if I may, you and Sabrina, you heard the company Ready One, right? Ready One?
Right. We are
Okay.
actually, our purchasing department has already been in contact with Ready One.
Okay.
And Ms. Rivera can attest to that the masks won't be ready, I think, for sale until April 27th, which is this coming Monday.
Yes. Okay.
And Ms. Gabby Diaz did already contact Ready One.
Okay.
So
Because I know
but
they
in
made
the
some
meantime,
they made us quite a few. I'm sorry.
it's okay. We have cloth masks available right now for everyone there that is reporting to the facility. We have made sure that everyone does have a cloth mask
Okay.
in the meantime until we get the ones from Ready One.
And you guys reached out to Granger. Granger, I think, has had some in stock recently. Do you deal with him at all, Granger?
We're trying everywhere, and they're just hard to get.
Okay, because we got some just the other day. So I think they're starting to be more available. Just whoever your purchasing person is, just tell them to contact all your vendors because they're becoming available now. Just so you know, just for inside information. So what are you asking us for then, Jerry, right now? This item?
I'm not asking for anything. I'm suggesting that here's what I'm saying. I plan to telework for a long time, not a problem. We can do it. We have the IT infrastructure. We're setting performance metrics for everybody. We're setting up weekly reports that the managers are going to give me on how their people are doing. If their people are failing with regard to their performance metrics, we're going to bring them in for training and make sure that they're properly trained to mastery so that they can go back out and work the full workday or whatever is required of them in the performance metrics. We're working through all of that. Again, this is new to us all. It's not in our risk management plan because we never wrote it in, we never envisioned it. What we're doing now is we're writing emails to our staff. We make sure that the staff logs into their email system so that they know what the latest that we're coming up with. We can put a document together for you based on all of that and our reaction to the state, federal, and local mandates that are coming up basically on a week-to-week basis. So it'll be a changing document, but we can do it and we can give you that. Like I said, it's not covered in our risk management plan.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would have this written in anybody's plan right now. This one would be covered in anybody's plan.
No, it's not.
Nobody would have it. It's
Yeah.
new to
To everybody.
I don't know, I guess
I'm
we
just,
can agree to go ahead and leave you in a 5-hour schedule, which I really don't agree because I really think that there's no reason why people can't work an 8-hour from home. It's not gonna hurt them. They can stay home and work 8 hours. We owe it to the district. But if the rest of the board agrees, then maybe we can have a special board meeting on May the 7th. Oh, I guess somebody's kid didn't agree.
Yeah, that was my kid. Ma'am, if I may,
Oh,
I don't have an issue with teleworking. I think teleworking is a good method of keeping people apart. My issue is paying our employees for 40 hours when they're only working 25 hours. I think they all should be working 40-hour work weeks.
Okay,
Yeah,
and like I said, the reason we changed it to have the telework employees work 8 hours and the on-site employees to work 5, we did it as a perk to the people that are facing the threat directly.
Yeah, but Jerry, that would be like telling a doctor the same thing when that's his profession. I mean, come
No,
on.
And we discussed this
We
when we
wanna
first
keep
started
everyone
this.
safe, but if we give them the proper tools and make sure they have the proper tools, we want them to be safe. But you were saying, okay, we're gonna keep you home for 5 hours. But what happens after the 5 hours for those employees? How do you know where they went? And yet we're paying them because they're working a 5-hour deal. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
We don't know where they go after the 8 hours either. We don't know what they do
That's
on
right.
weekends.
Yeah, but my conscience as a director for the constituents is that they worked 40 hours. I personally feel that people should work from 8 to 5. There's no reason why they can't work from home. I want everyone to work from home. I wish I could work from home. Every day I risk myself and I know that, but unfortunately that's part of the game and it's my job. I don't know.
but he's not. Asking us to approve it or no?
That's gotta be Mr. Trujillo.
Yes. It was
It's Margaret calling you to get back. It's time for dinner.
Henry, what do you think, Henry?
I would like to see him work 8 to 5, but yet Mr. Grijalva is making sure that they stay safe. Let's not go, let's make, like Rosie said, special board meeting and see where we're at about the middle of May.
Excuse me for interrupting, Henry. I'll tell you what we did. We cut people's hours, but they're happy that they're working. So maybe what we could do is say, all right, and I think Steve would say we're okay with it. Then we to keep everybody safe and everyone happy, that maybe we can reduce hours and that way they can go home and work and they're okay. And then if you do have to bring someone in, then of course we have to pay.
What do you mean
First-
reduce hours? Not 32 hours instead of 40, or what do you mean?
Well, yeah, but that's all they're gonna get paid unless they use up
Sure.
their vacation.
Correct.
I don't know. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying
No,
other
no.
entities are working 40 days from home. And,
Well,
You know,
the
like-
5 hours was just to keep us safe, no, Jerry? The working the 5 hours was just to keep people
Well,
apart.
my biggest problem is when we agreed on the 5 hours, we told you, Jerry, the only problem here is when we want to get back, people are going to have a hard time accepting it. And that's what's happening here.
No, but if I may, and I don't know if you guys agree or not, or if I'm correct, the 5 hours was because they were gonna work there. But if they were gonna go telework, it was gonna be 8 hours. So
Right.
but then the ones that are working are, I guess the ones that are working are considered, I guess, essential, have to be there. Am I correct, Jerry? They
Yes.
would have to work 8 hours, I think. I mean, I don't know. That's just me thinking.
Actually, Jerry, when we agreed, you can go back to your minutes. But unfortunately, it was an executive session. And what we all kind of talked about, what we have to do this is in our open meeting was saying, we're going to agree for you to do 5 hours, but we did think everybody was going to work from the office. And you yourself said you had enough room to accommodate everyone. You would put them in the boardroom. You would put them in the regular boardroom that the executive room that we use. But then all of a sudden people were starting to go home, which is good. I think you were very proactive. But at that time, because we said, we'll try it for 2 weeks. And then depending on you, you will decide what you want to do. But it didn't even go 24 hours. When you decided to send everyone home, when we had said 5 hours, agreeing for 2 weeks. But this has been more than 2 weeks. And all I'm saying is, sooner or later, people are going to have a hard time paying their bill, but yet we're paying everyone in only 5 hours. I don't know. What do you think, Mr. Estrada?
Part of the reason that we went to 5 hours was also because all of a sudden, everyone had their kids at home because the schools were shut down. And it was going to take a period of adjustment. But I think we've been through enough adjustment that everyone should be ready to go back to work 8 hours, either in the office or at home. But I don't see a problem with working 8 hours myself.
Yeah, I don't.
Everyone should be accustomed to having the kids at home and whatever arrangement they have to make or whatever.
And then Steve will tell you that the law says you can stay home under certain conditions, but we don't want to do that. I think that we can accommodate, you can work from home, be with your kids, because it's very difficult I wish I was in Dallas helping my son, but I think it should be an 8 to 5 schedule. And that way we don't have anyone out there upset that why this one works this and why that one works that. As far as those individuals having to go to the live stations and do what they have to do, I guess we can look at that and see how we can compensate them. But I think that's something that Sabrina and Mike's crew and you need to work on in making sure they have the proper shields and the proper tools to do their job without endangering them in any way. Now, we also need to remember, we're paying people for 40 hours, not working 40 hours. And yet, once all this is over and done with, which I don't think it is, we're forgetting that now they're accruing vacation that we're going to owe them based on not working 40 hours.
I agree, we should go back to 40 hours. either in the office or at home.
Yeah.
40 hour day. That week.
Now, Steve, do we need to make a motion on that?
No.
Yeah, you're gonna need, because you allowed Mr. Grijalva the authority to make some changes on staffing. If you're gonna want to give him some direction on how you want to structure the hours and what you're going to do, I think you should outline that for him and give it to him in a motion so we have a record of it.
Well, from what I sense from the board, Mr. Estrada voiced his opinion. Mr. Trujillo agreed, but feels that, okay, whatever Mr. Grijalva wants. Mr. Chavez, if I understood, you don't have an issue with the 8 to 5, and Mr. Carrasco the same. I think that I am in agreement, and I'd like to make a motion that we go back, starting Monday from 8 to 5, with Mr. Grijalva electing and deciding with his management crew and HR as to which individuals need to work from home, and people are allowed to work from home.
I second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Rosie, if I may, I think also like if we can, maybe we can have a special, like, I think you might have mentioned that right now, or somebody did, is maybe try to have a special meeting like May 7th or 12th or something like that, to see how things are going. Because every day it's changing every
Or the
single day.
FEMA.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Almost every week there's a change, so we
Every-
keep up with it.
every
And
day.
that's where Sabrina comes in as HR. It's difficult to keep up with everything and advise Mr. Grijalva what's going on. And then if we need a special board meeting, we call a special board meeting.
Okay,
But we're
yes.
saying we're allowing him to do what he has to do there,
Sure,
but
sure.
we're returning to an 8 to 5 schedule, even if the whole staff is working from home, staying safe and doing their thing at home.
Yeah, and Jerry, just so you know, you and Sabrina, I'll keep an eye. If I know there's some masks, I'll get in touch with you guys about some masks. As soon as,
Yeah. Honestly, guys, we're doing very well. We're fine. We've got very good policies. We're looking at the news daily. We're looking at whatever's coming out. We're doing well. I think we've done really, really well. To only have 2 cases here and no more contamination on something that was very new to the whole world, I think is awesome.
I think you've done excellent.
And we'll
I think
continue. It's not a problem. We're doing okay.
Just one thing they forgot to pick up iTrash this week on Tuesday, but that's okay. They did. Mondo, they better get by track. Okay, that was a form of a motion. We're moving on to the next one. Item 14, discussion and possible action to approve premium pay for employees working on call or for emergency services during COVID-19 emergency hours. I guess you're going to want to hold back on that one too, right? Go ahead.
I guess this one is void, right? Because if we go
Yeah.
back to the 40-hour schedule, it doesn't
Well,
apply anymore.
what I'd like to do is
think you already
have the
covered
board discuss it and pass it or not pass it. Because say they decide to go back to a 30-hour or 20-hour, 40-hour or less than a 40-hour work week, we've at least passed this so that we know that overtime is covered. We were very uncertain on how we were dealing with overtime during this 25-hour work week thing. So
Yeah,
at least there'll be some certainty to it.
I just think overtime should be over 40 hours. None of that should have ever changed. Steve, do you have an opinion on this?
No, that's up to you guys to decide, whether you're gonna offer premium pay for people working on an on-call basis or coming in, that's up to you all. The law only requires, the law only requires overtime over 40 hours.
Mhm. And nothing changes under the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, I'll tell you what we'll do. I so move to table this item until maybe Mr. Grijalva, Sabrina, Mr. Carrasco, and the HR committee meet to discuss this. And then we're.
I'll second that motion. This is Mr. Chavez.
Seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 15, consider and take action to utilize CMD and CSA and Bain Construction for emergency on-call construction services to compensate for the staff shortage due to the pandemic. Well,
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening, all. The administration is seeking board authorization to utilize the following construction companies: CMD, Endeavor, CSA Constructors, and Bain Construction for on-call construction services to perform work normally completed by Lower Valley Water District staff. Due to the COVID pandemic, the district is experiencing shortage of staff in the field operations department who are responsible for essential construction work in providing water and wastewater service to the district customers. Under separate cover, the board members were provided with construction rates from the construction companies just mentioned. I had asked IT to display just at a glance and basically a summary of those rates submitted by CSA, CMD, and Bain Construction. The worksheet that you're seeing will be utilized by engineering as they assign work on an emergency basis to obtain cost for projects or work assigned. The purpose for reaching out to 3 vendors is to minimize risk of unforeseen events that may be experienced by the district during uncertain times. If when engineering sees the need to utilize these contractors, and for some reason one is not able to meet the demands, then engineer would approach the second or the third. The idea is to utilize the contractors for a period of 6 months. On the memorandum that was provided under your agenda, the administration decided to put a cap of 100,000 per contractor for a period of 6 months. They're not competitive rates. It wasn't a bid. It was just to make sure that the district is covered if we see a decrease in our staff. Again, for our foreseen circumstances, it's only on an emergency basis, and is for engineering to put a proposal together if the need arises with whatever project may need to be outsourced to them. At this time, we open it up for board members to, if you have any questions, comments, concerns.
did you all meet with the engineering virtual meeting with engineering on this?
Yes, we had a meeting and Mr. Trujillo, we agreed with Jerry and Mr. Long because at that time, Mr. Orozco's crew was on quarantine because someone had gotten the virus. Now they're all back, but still, I think it's a good idea to keep it on in case that happens again. It doesn't mean we're gonna use them, but it's like having a guarantee that we can call on somebody to help us out on emergencies.
So is that your recommendation to the board, being that you sit on the engineering committee? Mr. Estrada, that is your recommendation to the board to go ahead and keep that? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, we agreed that we needed that as a backup plan because we had the whole crew out on 14-day quarantine. And
Yeah.
that's when we came out
That's
with.
good.
No, it's a good thing because with the problem with the wipes stopping up the sewer systems, and then we might have another person get infected. I hope we don't, but we never know. We might need these services to have them on standby.
Right.
And it might not be a bad idea for the next budget year to also include something like this in our budget. Just to step by the way we have engineering firms and all that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Mr. Chavez, do you have any questions regarding that?
No, I agree. I think it's a good idea just to have engineers on stand to help our crews in the event of any emergencies, to be just to fix the problems that we have. So I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
I was gonna ask Mr. Carrasco if he had any questions.
No, no questions.
sorry.
I'm in agreement. I think.
So there's been a motion by you, Mr. Chavez,
And I'll second it.
The,
seconded by Mr. Carrasco. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 16. Consider an approval for an order by the Board of Directors of the Lower Valley Water District authorizing the issuance of Lower Valley Water District's Utility System Revenue Bond Series 2020 and other matters incident and related thereto. Mr. Flores. Are you there?
Good evening, Madam President and members of the board and staff. Before you is a resolution that was put together by the attorneys, Norton Rose, for the bond issuance for the loan for the water meters. We are intended to close on the meter loan on May the 28th. And so this is just a formality for us to go forward with the closing of the water meter project.
Okay, anyone have any questions regarding this item?
No question.
no question.
I so move to approve as presented.
I'll second.
Who is that, Mr. Trujillo?
Yes.
And seconded by Mr. Trujillo. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 17, consideration and approval of a resolution approving a principal forgiveness agreement, Clean Water State Revolving Fund in the amount of $780,000 and other matters in connection therewith.
Madam President, members of the board and staff, this second resolution is just a formality again, but this part is for the $780,000 loan forgiveness. This is the grant component of the original $6 million that was approved by Texas Water Development Board. The board did approve that. Texas Water Development Board, I should say, approved it on the 13th of February is when we got the notification. And then this is also just the formality for us to go ahead when we do the closing for the on the 28th. And so we're respectfully asking for the board to approve this resolution as well.
Steve, you looked at this already, correct?
Yeah, the lawyers at Norton Rose prepared these documents. They kind of go hand in hand, and they're fine to approve as presented.
Anyone have any questions regarding this item?
No questions.
No question.
I so
No
move-
questions.
I so
Second the
move.
motion, this is Mr. Chavez.
And seconded by Mr. Chavez. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 18, discussion and possible action to approve change order number 1 for the Cuadrilla Packet wastewater treatment facility and site improvement. Mr. Long, I didn't see Mr. Long there. Where are
I'm
you?
here.
Oh, there you are.
As Mr. Howard mentioned in the manager report, we're changing, the original design had an asphalt driveway of 790 square feet. It was a design in HMAC. We're going to go with a concrete section because of the weight of the vehicles. Contractor gave us a cost of $21,103 with 60 cents to change the asphalt to reinforced concrete. We did meet with the engineering committee. We did talk about this. It is an 8-inch concrete section versus a 2.5-inch asphalt section. And we're also adding some additional days to the contract, 25 for the change from the asphalt to the concrete, and then they're requesting 7 weather days. So it'd be a total of 32 days added to this contract. Now, I asked Ulysses to be at the meeting in case y'all had any questions. They do have a full-time RPR inspector at the site. We do have our inspectors go out there on a daily basis as well. Is there any questions or?
RPR.
Did the engineering committee meet on this one as well?
Yes, we did.
Yeah,
And you guys recommend the same thing?
Yeah, we agreed, this will be
Yes.
permanent for as long as we live.
Ulysses, do you have anything you want to add to this?
Good evening, Madam President. No, I just, the price that we got for the concrete was very, very reasonable. I would say less than half the unit price that we would get it from anyone else. So it was a no-brainer for the district, I think. The asphalt would not last as long as the concrete. So I think it was the right choice and the right recommendation made. So.
Okay, Mr. Chavez or Mr. Carrasco, you have any questions that the engineering committee is recommending that we approve the item as presented?
I have no questions.
I have no questions, ma'am.
I so move to approve
I second it.
and seconded by Mr. Estrada. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, see, this is gonna be a good one, how we're gonna do this. I guess, Ryan, you're gonna be disconnecting everybody.
Yeah, I think
Executive session.
everybody needs to leave the meeting, and then the board members and Mr. Grijalva need to go into the calendar and go on to the other closed session that we have set up. And then we'll have to come back, obviously, to this open meeting session to finish out the meeting.
Board members, you guys can just leave. We'll resend the invite right now to your email.
Okay, well, let me say, Board of Directors will retire in executive session pursuant to sections 551.071 through 551.076 Texas Government Code to discuss any of the following. 551.071 through 551.071 and 551.072 discussion regarding land acquisition for the Lourdes Estates and El Conquistador project. It is 7:41. Thank you. So we exit out and then you send us, correct?
Ready?
Is that what you said, Ryan? We go ahead and leave and then you'll send us another invite, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
Everybody's waiting.
Rod and Mr. Trujillo,
Yeah.
you guys will have to leave the meeting. There's a little button here that says leave meeting.
How do I leave it, man? Tell me.
Upper left corner where it says leaving meeting, leave meeting. Got it.
Leave meeting and then check your email, Rod.
All right, I'll do that.
Leave meeting, whereabouts?
On the bottom right, Henry, and then check your email.
Yeah, mine's on the top left.
Okay, maybe.
Leave meeting.
Oh yeah, you guys are on the iPad. I'm sorry. It's top left, leave meeting.
Hey, and then why don't you text me the number? Is it a number or what are you going to send me via email?
I'll send you the meeting ID. So you can just leave
On
meeting.
the iPad? Is it through my iPad?
Yeah.
Okay.
Join meeting, meeting ID, and then password.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Ryan, where am I supposed to leave the meeting?
Are you on the iPad, Mr. Trujillo?
Yeah.
Okay. So just tap on the screen. And then
I'm gonna tap on Dolores right there. Okay,
Now-
leave meeting.
Yeah, there you go. So just hit leave meeting and I'll just check your email. It should be in your email. The invite.
Okay. Leaving meeting.
You gotta go to the office to check your email.
Okay, leaving meeting.
It's just us guys.
Yay.
I'm back.
I'm back. I'm in, David.
Okay, I guess everyone's back on. It is 8:02 p.m. The board's back in session. There was no action taken in executive session. The next item on the agenda is item 20, discussion and possible action regarding land acquisitions for the Lourdes Estates and El Conquistador project. I so move to allow Mr. Grijalva to engage with a broker to move forward on this process, knowing that the final will come back to the board.
I see.
We need to name the broker. I don't know his name. I don't remember.
I don't know his name, but I'll
Is
say.
the broker's name? Mr.
Garrett, you're
Grijalva,
muted.
what's the broker's name?
Jose Rodriguez?
Yeah.
Okay, so I so move to engage to let him hire Mr. Jose Rodriguez as the broker.
Hold on,
Okay,
hold
so it's
on.
been moved.
Michael, what's his name?
Daniel Rodriguez.
Daniel Rodriguez.
Okay. Jose Rodriguez
Oh.
is a senator.
Yeah.
Daniel Rodriguez, make that correction, Cindy, that we move forward in engaging with him for this process where they'll work on acquiring the property and bringing it back to the board for approval. That was a form of a motion, and I believe Mr. Carrasco is
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Mr. Carrasco approved. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. It's before we adjourn, I want to say thank you to everyone. Ryan, you've done an excellent job in putting all this together. All of you, everyone in management, Mr. Grijalva, the entire staff. This has been a difficult time, but again, together we'll see this through, and hopefully we can one day be able to hug and join forces and party and hopefully have our big employee recognition in December as we move along. With that in mind, I so move to adjourn. It is 8:04 p.m. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that. This was Mr. Chavez.
Mr. Chavez, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Grijalva. I guess we'll get with you, Mr. Carrasco and I, as
Yeah.
we move on in the next week or so.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Yes,
We do want, please don't forget, please make sure we put a plan together so that the board feels a little more comfortable knowing that we're doing something. Okay?
Okay, now, Mr. King, we're gonna take some documents for your signature tomorrow morning for you, Mr. Trujillo, based on this meeting.
Okay, do me a favor, call me because we have a big meeting tomorrow to update Mr. Gomez of what's going on. We've kept him home. Your people will be required to report to the guard where they will wait in the car. I will come out and I will take the documents and sign them and then return them back to them. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Thank you.